Hello, StarCraft fans! This is Falcon Paladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between Railgan and Jason on Paladino Terminal, the latter edition. And with me, coming all the way from the country of Switzerland, it is Railgan.
Hello everyone, thank you for inviting me, Falcon Paladin.
Yeah.
I'm glad I'm able to talk a little bit about one of my games today.
Yeah, always fun to have the person who played the game giving some commentary, a little bit of background information, stuff that I would otherwise miss. Railgan knows, because this is him. So quickly, we'll introduce these players and get right on into it. In the top left side of Paladino Terminal, we have the Red Zerg player. It is Railgan. Railgan has a YouTube channel and a Twitch channel. He streamed for 10 hours yesterday, you guys. 10 hours of streaming. So check him out on Twitch. He's on there all the time. He does crazy, really interesting builds. If you caught the Railgan versus Thermal game I posted last week, you'll know what I'm talking about. If you missed that, I'll probably put a link in the top right. And in the bottom right side of the map from Cray Squad, it is the Blue Terran player. It is Jason. All right, so what are some things you're looking for in the early game against Terran? I notice you're not drone scouting. You are sending some Slover Lords out, but how do you check for things like proxy 3 racks, or do you just not assume those are going to be a problem?
Well, this is a bit of a special map. First of all, I see that he's worker scouting me immediately. If he goes for a worker scout, he will usually not proxy racks. Secondly, I'm able to get the Overlord across the map in time to see barracks in his main, or even multiple barracks if it's a Reaper build. So that's kind of what I'm looking out on this map.
Okay, so on this map, it's a 2-player map, so it is easy to go exactly to where your opponent is and see that barracks inside or outside. That makes a lot of sense. I'm liking that. So this is going to be a Reaper opening out of Jason, which means we should pull up the Reaper name list. And as usual, I don't have that ready because I never get that ready before I start casting. So let me pull it up real fast. Oh no! Oh no, I had it. And then it was gone.
Yeah, in this game I actually wanted to go for the 3 roach opener. I mean, I'm sure you have seen that in plenty of games that Falcon Paladin casted.
Yep.
I built 3 roaches, walk across the map. I do a little bit of harassment with the 2 links that just died to the Reaper. And I kind of decided against the 3 roaches. Because I thought he is going factory, and the Cyclone is really good against the roach in this map.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So this Reaper's name is TOD. He is a Reaper. But look at the supply, it says. I don't know what that's talking about, but this is TOD throwing that KD8 charge down, knocking the Queen back, just hanging out at the natural, scouting that. Checking for a quick third to see if Railgan has done any of that. There's not one there. There's an Overlord at that location, but really no third hatch going down at this point, and it just pulls back to let the combat drugs heal him up. We also do have the factory coming up, exactly what Railgan thought would be happening. So yeah, Railgan with Cyclones, or rather factory with Cyclones, really great against those roaches. So what do you decide to go for instead here?
Well, I actually expected the factory to go up immediately. What he did was a barracks factory opener, which usually leads to the 16 marine drop that we see really prevalent in the meta. Currently the CVT meta is either factory Hellions or 16 marine drop. He's going for the 16 marine drop, and that's not really what I hoped for this game.
Yeah, that is pretty strong. You get those 16 Marines out in double medevac. They usually have stim by the time they come over as well, and that's a lot of damage dropping in your main or in your natural base. Generally, I see players get just speedlings and queens, maybe some roaches to deal with that. What's your personal preference?
I usually defend it with speedlings and queens. If you're looking at the evolution chamber, I'm already getting the +1 carapace upgrade with my second 150 gas. A big difference between my playstyle and the playstyle of most Zergs is that I take a really late third base, but I always get that fast +1 carapace upgrade to help me deal with the 16 Marines.
Gotcha. So it does allow the Zerglings a little bit more survivability against the Marines, which, yeah, I can definitely see makes all the difference there. So here's our Marine count from Jason. Do we have a starport? Yep, starport with a reactor popping out. Double medevacs. His expansion is down as well. So yeah, a lot of Zerg players would see this and say, you're 2 base versus 2 base. How are you going to keep up in the mid to the late game with the Terran player when you are just sitting on equivalent bases with the Terran?
I'm investing into tech instead of the usual investment into economy. So I just have to trade efficiently with my links and queens, and then get ahead with a tech like Hydralisks, Infestors, or in this case I'm actually going for drops because I did get that super fast Overlord speed, I have a Baning Nest ready, and the +1 Carapace upgrade.
Yeah, I did see that coming up. Got some drop lords coming. You did scout the drop perfectly. Jason walked right past 2 overlords. And here he comes. He's not actually dropping. He's just kind of walking across the map with his marines and with his medevacs and a Widow Mine in there as well. You got to control carefully for that Widow Mine.
Yeah, well, this is a really, really dangerous point in the game for me because I have no Baning speed, I have no Mutalisks, I have no way to really kill his Medivacs, and I don't really have many Lings at home either, but I do have that drop moving across the map that I'm hoping to deal a lot of damage with.
Yeah, so you're dropping while you have pressure at your front, which is just very impressive to me. Usually if I have pressure at my front, I'm panicking and just making as many units as I can to defend, have no thought whatsoever to being aggressive. So I love seeing these 2 drop lords moving across the map.
Well, I think it's fair to say that I'm panicking a lot right now as well, because I know that his Marines are going to kill my Banelings so fast.
And he's coming for it. You're dropping Lings at the same time, killing a lot of SCVs, but simultaneous damage, kiting backwards, is Jason. The Banelings are chasing, but again, oh, Widowmine killing 2 of them. Good split, though. Could have been a lot worse in that situation. Marines recognizing they're in a good spot, heading on in. Lings just going to town on Jason's main base, though, taking down a barracks, getting rid of a supply depot. The Marines are being so cost-efficient here, killing creep tumors, killing Lings, killing queens as best as they can. The Banelings are just trying to zone the Terran out. They can't connect with him because he's just too fast with the stim. Lings trying to pick off what they can. Zerglings still murdering stuff inside the main base. This is turning into something of a base race type situation. Can Railgan hold this off is the question.
What's really important right now is that I'm shutting down all his production in the main. He cannot really produce Marines because they die immediately to the Lings, and at the front my +1 Carapace queens are kind of trading efficiently, but they're all falling now.
Yeah, there's down to 2 queens now. One is very injured. Jason looks like he decides, okay, he just lift off to back off a little bit, not go home. He needs to heal up. He's been stimming a lot right now. He's got SCVs mining again. In his main base, his natural base, he's got 2 Hellions, SCVs, and a Marine to deal with this Ling infestation, and does a pretty good job with it there. The Hellions making a world of difference for the Terran player, and it looks like Jason has stabilized a little bit here.
Yeah, but in the main, at the same time, he has to deal with these Banelings that I can't pick up, and I think that's what I'm going to do right now. Yes, here we go.
Yep, picking up those Banelings, chasing those Hellions, trying to drop on them. Jason still at the front is down to a very small number of Marines at this point. He has 5 of them. He's got his Widowmine. That's a lot of Lings and Queens and Banelings. I just don't know if that's going to work out. Jason's got to pick up and get out now. Widowmine fires and does kill a few of the Zerglings. Good control there by Jason, but it's time to retreat.
And in his natural mineral line?
Oh, there's the drops. So many dead SCVs. 34 dead SCVs in this game. It is 40 to 10 Harvesters. Railgan is on top of this game right now.
It's still a very scary game for me because I do have this Ling Baneling force, but he also still has mules left. He has 3 command centers that are going to be able to pump up mules, so he still has a lot of mineral income. And I'm kind of lucky that I already got the +1/+1 upgrade, but I'm still not out of the water yet.
Making a 3rd base as well. If you're ahead, get more ahead is what Day9 always used to say. And yeah, I mean, unless you absolutely kill a Terran, they can come back. They're like zombies, man. You got to hit them right in the head, kill those brains, or they'll keep coming after you. So here you are threatening the front with some Lings and some Banelings. Hellions trying to stop that from happening. He does have a drop ship for the Hellions, allowing them to move up and down and back and forth as necessary, and that's actually helping him quite a bit in this very tense situation for the Terran player, Jason.
The Banelings are running in, and my goal right here is to somehow connect with the Marines. It's pretty hard if he target fires the Banelings, but he fails to do so very narrowly.
Yeah, he does a great job picking up landing on the low ground, though, so the Banelings and Lings have to go around the outside. He's just doing elevator drops. Lings and Bane say, if you're not going to let us engage directly, we're going to kill all your SCVs at the natural base. How does that sound? Banelings rolling, trying to, again, make those connections on the Marines, but no, not doing very well, getting chased down. The Hunter has become the hunted. Supply depot does end up falling. Jason is not anywhere near supply blocked, however, as he's only down to 9 SCVs. He has exactly 14 Marines, a Hellion, and 5 medevacs on the field right now.
And while I did a lot of economic damage, it also means that I'm mining out a little bit quicker. In my main mineral line is already down to 10 efficient harvesters, so I did a lot of damage, but I also have trouble mining.
Big old swing of Lings coming right through. No Baneling support, so this wall is going to be very good for Jason. Lings with +1/+1 are better At breaking down walls, the Lings with no +1/+1, but here we go. Morphing in 4 Banelings to take out a supply depot. That's what you need to just open that door a little bit to let all these Lings flood on in. +2 Ground Carapace being researched, and +1 Flyer attack for Mutas that I don't know. Oh no, it's going to be Corruptor instead.
And I cannot really bust stream right there, and the Marine. Keep in mind, while I'm ahead in workers, the army value is still very even. He doesn't really have many Widow Mines, but he does still have the Medivacs.
Indeed, the Medivacs are a great force multiplier for the Terran player. Almost busted that. Supply depot does explode, but the Marines responded in time to shoo away those Zerglings. More Baneling drops at the natural base, killing even more of these SCVs. 54 SCVs have been killed in this game so far. Jason has just got to be feeling so bad about this, but he decides it's time to move out. We're going to come out to the outside of this wall with our Marines. +1/+1 and Stim are complete for these dudes, as well as Combat Shield, which is so useful against Zerg. Third base up for Railgan. He's got 56 total Harvesters. Mutalisk production has begun along with the Corruptors. So why go Muta and Corruptor? What are the different jobs of those units?
Actually, I cancelled almost all Mutalisks. They kind of were a mistake. I just really want the Corruptors to kill the Medivacs, and the Mutalisks, I fear, would die to the Marines anyways.
Gotcha. So yeah, I love Corruptors against Medivacs. Seems like a great decision. More Zerg players should definitely go for that. Roach Warren on the way for you as well. That +2 Ground Carapace is going to finish. Going to be super useful against this attack in the front. Again, more Ling drops in the main base trying to do stuff, but Jason right on top of that. It gets shut down immediately.
Yeah, and I'm able to push him back home. He now finally made the third command center into an orbital, so if you check the mineral income, it's starting to get decent again for him once he drops down those mules.
It is about 1,500 compared to 2,100 for you, but here comes, oh, the Lings running right on through. That door was wide open, but you decided not to accept the invitation. Too many Hellions, too many Marines, I assume.
The problem is that my Lings would die in and die to the Marines, and then once the Banelings arrive, I only have Banelings left, and then those would die as well. And I couldn't rearrange the units because he would just lift up the supply depot anyway, so I decided against an attack there.
Yeah, fair enough. Better safe than sorry is what I always say. So Roach production has begun, +2 melee attack on the way, and Glial Reconstitution being researched. Are you planning on tech switching into Roaches at this point, or just using them to augment your existing force?
I figure that I'm already pretty far ahead in this game. Like, I mean, I saw how many workers I've killed.
Right.
And, oh, there's actually an engagement here.
Yeah, big old Widow Mines getting some nice hits off there. Good retreating by Jason, allowing the Widow Mines to do their damage. We got Banelings, not many Lings, a bunch of Corruptors in the sky, and some Queens on the front lines here as well. So splitting his Marines very well. Here is Jason. He's trying to kill those Corruptors, but just without the full upgrades of Marines, they don't do that well at shooting Corruptors out of the sky. So right now the advantage is definitely to the Zerg player. Got Banelings. Widow Mine gonna fire again here. No, it does get the hit off before it dies. Overseers got there a little bit too late. And Railgan pulling back again. Jason trying to hold this little choke point while macroing up back home. He is a back up to 32 Harvesters, which is much better than he used to be at.
Yeah, and the reason why I'm adding Roaches to the mix right here is to first of all move the Ravagers to kill the Widow Mines, and because Roaches are also kind of beefy and tanky, when I just go Pureling Bane, I run the risk of losing all my army into big Widow Mine hits. And I feel like if I build some Roaches, I'm a lot more safe. That's the same reason why I opted for Corruptors instead of Mutas, just to feel safe and actually get ahead in the current game.
Yeah, I love that Ravager skin. That's a new one. It definitely makes it look a lot beefier than it used to be, for sure. I'm sure it doesn't change the hitbox or anything, but yeah, they look like they went to the gym for a few weeks.
I can promise you they still digest as quickly as they used to.
Just as flimsy. Still have the 120 hit points there. So fourth base up now for you as well, but a third base has been established by Jason. He is looking pretty good. A lot of Marines, a lot of Widow Mines, got some bunkers up here as well. I'd like to see maybe some tanks out of him, but just sticking with the Marine Widow Mine medevac composition, and so far he's not dead, so it's working for him.
Yeah. If you take a quick look at the units lost, you also see that I traded a lot less efficiently. I also mined more, of course, and I invested more into upgrades, but I mined a lot less efficiently. And what's really key is the army composition that Jason is going for. He barely has any Marauders, he has actually no Marauders, he only has a few Widow Mines, he doesn't have any tanks, so he doesn't really have any high-tech units. He still has a decent army supply, but it's not that beefy army supply that you want to have as Terran.
Yeah, it's 42 Marines and 2 Widow Mines done. That's it. That's all that he has. He's starting Marauder production, which will help against Baneling hits, but I mean, at this point, he needs to get something more going, and he is making a factory to that effect.
Yeah. What I'm doing right now is I'm spreading my army. I have this small Roach Corruptor force at the top to deal with drops. I have the Ling Hydra Baneling force at the bottom to deal with drops. My goal is just to kind of stay safe and prepare for one big push right now.
Yeah, it's 158 to 115 total supply. Railgun has that lead, a 60 to 48 harvester supply. Again, Terran will come back on you in macro if you give them enough time. 5th base coming up for Railgun at the top here. Creep spread about halfway across the map. I'm liking your creep spread. I always do. I appreciate some good Railgun creep spread here. You have 3 creep queens just on the very bottom lane here alone.
Yeah, what he's doing right now is he's just pushing in, trying to clean my creep to get more map presence. And as soon as he kills the creep, I just go back there with my 3 queens and I pop down the creep tumor once again.
Yep, some roaches come in to shoo away the marines, and then the queens come back in to replant the creep tumors. Yeah, it's good management here. Here comes that queen. So small group of roaches, again, with the awesome roach skin and +1/+2 running around. But 3rd base, again, a 3-base Terran can be pretty terrifying. The difference is that Jason, like you said, does not have those higher tech units. Doesn't have any tanks. No Liberators. Liberators would be pretty fun in this situation, although the Corruptor count is pretty high. Yeah, it looks like your composition is pretty well suited to do much of whatever it wants to do against Terran at this point. What is something that Jason could do to really threaten your position?
Well, what is really important is that he does not have the +2/+2 upgrades. He's still on +1/+1, and upgrades are very important with the bio composition. He cannot afford the upgrades, attack units and everything at once, so he decided to cut the upgrades, which is going to be a pretty big problem in any fights.
Here comes.
What he could do, yeah.
Oh yeah, so an attack here from the south with the roaches at the 3rd base using caustic spray on the bunker. An attack from the north as well, more Baneling and Hydra oriented. Getting smashed by Widow Mines a little bit here. Overseer is trying to assist with that. The roaches getting pushed back at the south, now coming back in as the army of Jason is being pushed back and forth, dancing up and down, just standing in and fighting. Again, how good Hydras are against straight up bio is so impressive to me these days, especially if the upgrades are better. And that's it. A good game out of Jason. Jason is defeated and Railgun is victorious. Woo! Yeah, so congratulations for the win there. And it really just came down to that early aggression. You managed to fend off what he was trying to do. And then that Ling drop while defending what he was trying to do at about 5 minutes really just kind of let you snowball to a victory about 10 minutes later.
Yeah, I played this game rather safe after the early great game harassment. It was very dangerous for me while he was dropping me with the 16 Marines. He could have done a lot of damage there, but he was really preoccupied at home and lost a lot at home as well. So he couldn't get the maximum out of that drop. That's really what helped me get ahead in this game.
Yeah, absolutely. So again, I just want to highlight this composition again. You've got queens, you've got ravagers, corruptors, banelings, roaches, hydralisks. I mean, you had lings in there for the vast majority of the game. It's nice to see when Zerg use different units. So many times I see Zerg trying to use like mass Hydra or mass Roach or mass Ling Baneling, and it's just like you need all the different types. Like Zerg units complement each other in a way that makes it's beautiful to me as a Zerg main.
Yeah. So the reason why I went for the Hydralisks at the end is that he almost only had Widow Mines. You saw that he had no tanks, and without tanks you cannot fight Hydralisks at all. Hydralisks are way too strong in the current meta, unless you actually deal with tanks. So he couldn't afford tanks, the upgrades, as I mentioned numerous times, and that's why I decided for the Hydralisks, and eventually would have gotten the Lurkers, which would have sealed the deal completely against any bio play.
All right, so I think that might be it for the cast. Anything else you want to add here?
Oh, I just want to thank you for the invitation. I'm glad I got to cast together with you.
Yeah, absolutely. Always good to have you. We need to have you on sooner rather than later, I think. It's been too long since the last Railgun co-cast. And again, you guys, check him out on Twitch and Facebook. He's also on Twitter, Railgun SC. I'll put links to all that in the description. Give him a follow. He's consistent. He's been around for as long as I have, longer than I have on the StarCraft 2 scene. So definitely you're not going to follow him and have him disappear on you like some people have done. All right, so let's wrap this up. This has been Falcon Paladin and Railgun with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Go ahead and hit me on Twitter and Facebook and Patreon, all at /Falcon Paladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.